So, do you want the good news first or the bad news first? I think we'll perhaps drop the bad news first and then we can cheer you up afterwards. Welcome to the last table talk of 2024. There you go. Bad news wasn't that bad, was it? Welcome to Model Kit Stuff. My name is Jason, and yes, that's the bad news out of the way. There will be no more table talks ever again in 2024. Of course, they'll be back as soon as we can in 2025. I actually really enjoy doing the table talk videos, and they get a lot of love. So why would we be ending that? Some of you will have already spotted there is still an outstanding Saturday, the 28th of December. So why would there not be a table talk? Well, partly because I'm on holiday actually. I'm going to be spending my time catching up on recording videos to get a bit ahead. So this takes quite a bit of my time, filming the table talk video, so it allows me to focus on other things for a little while. Plus, there's not a lot to talk about right now, so it almost feels like we'd be filling it out a little bit. There's not a lot of talk to talk about in this one, so we're going to do it in a slightly different format. And some of you might think we're padding it out, but actually no, we're going to reflect on the year that we've just had in this video. But before we start talking about all of that, a massive hello and welcome to all of you, my over 11,000 subscribers now. A big warm season's greetings. And if you're a new subscriber and you've not watched Table Talk before, what we're doing today is not really the usual format. Normally we talk about what's been happening during the week, what's coming up, future plans. We sometimes talk about kit releases and modelling news and all sorts of stuff really. It's just a good way to keep in contact with the channel. And if you want to really immerse yourself in model kit stuff, then become a member. Get yourself access to the Model Kit Stuff social group. It grows pretty much on a daily basis at the moment. It's fairly new. We've been running for a fortnight now. And yeah, it's going really, really well. It's just a bunch of like-minded, friendly people sharing what they do. And we've got quite a eclectic mix of people. We've got people from the USA, we've got people from the UK, we've got people from different parts of Europe. It's really, really nice bringing these people together, and they've all got a variety of sort of key interests. So we've got people that like building wooden model ships. We've got someone that likes building card models, which is something new to me. We've got people who are interested in aircraft, ships, tanks, it's cars, it's all in there. It is all in there. So right now it's quite a fledgling little group. We've already started to do some members only stuff. So the new titles, the members have had a bit of a say in that, in as much as I've presented it and asked for feedback, and then I've tweaked things and redone things, and I'm now really happy with our new titles, and that's going to serve us well through 2025. You can see the logo has stayed but slightly been reworked. It's quite interesting that the story of the logo actually, and we've never really talked about that. So perhaps that's where we're going to start. So the Model Kit Stuff logo, the classic logo, the black background with the Model Kit Stuff in white and the Model Kit in white and stuff in red. That comes about because of the editing software. So when I came to create the channel, I had to give the channel a name. I hadn't really thought about it. And so, well, what we're going to do, we're going to talk about model kits. But we're not just going to talk about model kits. From day one, my view always was, let's do this and incorporate certain other elements that modelers are interested in. So it's not just building model kits, and it's not just giving people tutorials, which, you know, sometimes they can be a little condescending if you don't present them right. So I wanted to talk about tools, I wanted to talk about paints, I wanted to do builds, and I wanted to show you what went well and what didn't go well and what my thoughts were, and that sort of stuff. So right from the off, I knew there'd be quite a mix and variety of stuff that I'd end up putting out over the fullness of time. I wasn't really sure. In my mind, I sort of had lots of ideas pinging, but none of them had really come together. There was nothing concrete. It was, it was still a lot of sand and stone. So I'd sort of gone into it and I go, but right, okay, let's start a channel. I can do this. And I sat down and YouTube and creating an account for the channel, and it says, what's your channel name? And I go, don't really know. It's just stuff to do with modelling, and that's how the name came about. And to be honest, if I'd known the channel was going to be as successful as it was, I might have thought a bit longer about the name. So there's a very famous quote from a gentleman that some of you will know, called David Grohl, who was the drummer in Nirvana and then went on after the demise of Nirvana to create a band called the Foo Fighters, and he's very famous on record of saying, so for those of you that perhaps don't know, Foo Fighters is an American term for pilots that see UFOs. And that's not worked, has it? There we go. So it was sort of a mini project for him after Nirvana, and it then sort of took off, and that very first album was, you could feel it there was a lot of Nirvana in there, and it's evolved and what have you. And a few years ago now, probably 5 or 6 years ago now, we did a documentary about the Foo Fighters, and at the very end you see him at home mopping the floor, and he does a voiceover, and he goes, to be honest, if I'd known this was going to be what it's become, I would have given it a different name. What a rubbish name Foo Fighters is. This is what he says. And I feel a little bit the same about model kit stuff. We perhaps could have been put a bit more thought into that if I'd known it was going to take off. But actually, I've grown to love it. And other people have emulated it. I'm not going to name any names, but there's other channels out there that say stuff that came after my channel. So might just be coincidence, might not, but yeah, there we go. So that's how model kit stuff came about. And then I created a video, and right from the off I knew it was not a case of just chuck a video out of me talking, and I know different people have different ways of introducing, but I was also new to editing videos. I'd not done it before, And I had free software on my Apple laptop called iMovie. This is going somewhere, so bear with me. So you've got a number of options when you're in iMovie to create title pages. And so I tried to find one that sort of worked for me. And there was this one where you put model kits, you had a word, a line, and then a word, and it would, when you played, it would sort of open out across the screen and then close off again. And I really quite liked that. It was simple, but it was effective. So I put model kit and stuff in, and we did the first video, which was very awkward and difficult, and I was trying to be professional. Didn't realise that you just needed to relax and be yourself. So you know, I was a bit like a 1930s newsreader, and trying to do it in my best English and all that sort of stuff. And then you suddenly realise, look, that's not what people are interested in at all. It's the content, as much as anything. The presentation on YouTube, certainly, presentation is not the number one priority. It's the content. Although presentation is what draws people in and keeps people in, so you do have to balance it. But anyway, we were I'm digressing on my digress. So that's it. Did the first video, used this title page, and that is how the model kit stuff classic logo that you can now buy on a mug or a t-shirt from my merchandise shop, that's how it came about. And also in iPlayer, there was a little selection of music and sound effects and all that, and in there was a little piece of music, and I shoved it underneath, and that became the opening tune for quite a while actually. And even when we started doing things a little bit more differently, that had become the signature tune. And I was probably about 9 months into the channel before I realised that I could have different music for different things. And I think actually the moment that dawned on me was when we did the Tamiya Megami build. So the aircraft carrier one. If you've not seen it, go and check it out. It's still one of my favourite video series that I've ever done. And I know a number of other people agree. We just did a straight out of the box-ish build of the Megami. And I really didn't want to use the tune. I wanted something a bit more oriental, and YouTube has a bank of music that is free to use, copyright free. You can use it, will always be free. Most of it is dreadful. In fairness, most of it is absolute. I can't understand how anyone would ever use it, but there are channels out there that have done that. So anyone that watches the history professor, Mark Felton, is it? So he has a very famous tune, and he uses that title tune on all his videos, regardless. Yeah, it's a freebie from iMovie, that one. It's listed just underneath my original one. And, you know, his opening titles and stuff, it's all iMovie. And there's lots of, when you use iMovie and you've got very familiar with it, you can see it all the time. Because iMovie is the most popular video editing software. But we'll talk about editing software a little bit later. So yeah, when I came to do Megami, right, okay, I want to do something oriental, and so I took a piece of oriental sounding, Japanese sounding music from that, and it really enhanced the video. And I'd come up with this idea that we would start it by You know, what's the first thing you do when you start building a model? You know, some people will say, well, you know, do some research. Some people will say, get your paints together. First thing I do is actually make a cup of coffee and sit down with the box and go through the instructions. So we started the video with the coffee machine making a coffee, and actually we ended the last video on I can't remember whether we put an empty coffee cup back, like we'd done it in one during the life of drinking one cup of coffee. Can't remember, but I think we did something like that at the end. So that's sort of how model kit stuff evolved and started off, and now we've got slightly different logo going forward. We're still going to have the classic one, we're still going to use the classic one with the black background. That's not going anywhere. But this is my new opening titles. We've still got the stuff in red and we've got model kit stuff. The font is different, and how we're presenting it is different because we're animating it now. Why? Well, I'm changing my editing software. I'm currently on part way through a 90-day free trial of Final Cut Pro, which is the professional version of iMovie. And I'm kicking myself a little bit about it, to be honest, because when I bought this new computer earlier this year, I had the option to have it pre-installed by Apple for £250. And I ummed and ahed about it. I very nearly did it because I wanted to, but the reason why we were buying that was to make it easier for me to edit videos anyway. I had a bigger screen, bigger memory, didn't have to clean out iMovie quite so often to keep working. And it did all of those. And because I was expecting iMovie to perform better on this computer, I ended up not buying Final Cut Pro. I've now come to the point where I'm getting a little bit fed up of the glitches of iMovie. They're notorious. You know, sometimes it won't upload and that sort of stuff. And so I took the view that I finally needed to upgrade, and Final Cut Pro is the second most popular editing software. It's a bit like DaVinci. I tried DaVinci early in the year and it completely ruined my life, and I'll never ever recommend it to anybody. But this has all the same features Final Cut Pro does, but it's so intuitive to work. Some elements of it are familiar from iMovie, but with a lot of upgrades. There's a lot of differences in how it works. So yeah, at the end of the 90-day trial, it's 300 quid. So that is the next channel purchase, is better software. And you're all going to get the benefit from it because we can do better presented videos, which will bring more people in or get more people to stay. So we now have an animated introduction, and we can I really like it because we've been able to build a theme. So when we need pop-up text in a video, we can use the same theme. When we have the end titles at the end of the video, which you have to have because YouTube sort of insist on it because they want to put other video adverts on at the end. I mean, you don't have to do that, but it comes to an abrupt stop otherwise. So we pop up with my face, which you can hit, so you can subscribe, and you know, there's always a playlist video, and then I allow YouTube to generate a video that is of interest to the viewer. So if you're a plane modeler, it's much more likely to show you my most latest video with a plane on, and if you ship, a ship, and so on. If you watch the channel a lot, it probably show you the last video that I did before this one. So on Table Talk, it'll probably show you Friday night's build, for example. So so you need some outro, and what this new software has allowed me to do is tie all that together. So we've got this blue circles theme, which runs at the start and it also runs at the end, and if I need to put text in the middle, I can keep it in the theme. So it's gonna look a lot more professional. I originally went with red, but I was struggling to get the Model Kit Stuff logo to actually work in the red, and that was also circles, but the part of it was in a box, and one of the members said, well, that doesn't quite look right, and you know, I had to agree, so we've changed that. So yeah, so there you go. That's why we've got a slightly different logo. That's why it doesn't look the same as the old one, because I can't actually do the old one in the new software because they haven't got that template. I could do something close to it, but not the same. So you might see some mix of videos over the coming weeks, because I've got some stuff that's pre-done, some stuff that's part done in iMovie, so we'll finish it in iMovie. So there'll be a little sort of changeover period, but all new videos I'm doing in this, and when the 90 days comes, the channel will pay the £300 and away we go. So going back to members, members, if you want to become a member, it costs you a small fee, and in exchange for that you get access to the members only social group, which is a Facebook page where you can share your builds, talk to fellow modelers. We've already got people sharing tool ideas, tips, tricks. I've done my first members only video. You as non-members, if you're as subscribers, you're not going to miss out. You will see that video, but you'll see it in a slightly different context. So I've taken something that's in a larger video and just focused on it for the members, and the members have got access to it before the subscribers have. So we'll do those little bits throughout the year for the members. We're also going to have a bit of a gathering. We talked about it last week. So at Telford, I'm going to try and get everyone together in a pub and have a few drinks. And by the time we get to Telford, we'll have known each other for a year. Well, maybe longer, because some of us know each other from the chat. So it'd be really nice to sort of meet up and have a chat. So do consider membership. It supports the channel. It's only a nominal fee, and I'm getting a fraction of my revenue because of membership that I used to get. So before membership, what was happening was people were donating to the channel using the PayPal link. A lot of those people that were donating have now become members and supporting the channel that way. But YouTube takes half of that money, and the amount that membership is a reduction on what most people were donating. So I'm getting about 25%, 30% of the revenue that I was getting from donations on top of the revenue from advertising. So what I need to do to offset that is have more members than I had regular donators. And I'm already at that point where I've got a few more, but I need more. So do consider membership, because not only does it support the channel and really help the channel, you can have a bit of a say and influence on what we do on the channel. You get some extra benefits of talking with a little small friendly group. There's new posts in there every day. I'm in there every day and I'm posting bits and pieces regularly, and it gives me an opportunity to see what you guys are doing. Some people have asked for help and asked questions, so it's already in its early stages got some really great green shoots of it being a phenomenal little adventure for people, and I've got to say I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I've done it. So even though we've had a drop in revenue for now, I think over the fullness of time it should balance itself out, and you're getting something extra back for that donation, whereas before it was just a donation to keep the cameras rolling. So do consider membership. The feedback I'm getting from members is that they're really enjoying the social group. We've got some plans in there. So some of the admins are going to be announcing some stuff, so I don't want to tread on their feet, but we've discussed some bits and pieces that we're going to do. So yeah, it's going really well. So yeah, that's my membership piece done. Right, shall we get on? Let's talk about what happened last week quickly, and then we can get stuck into our review of 2024. So we started on Monday with the deceber sander. Now, that's a great little tool. Great for 3D printed parts and stuff like that. Someone made a comment, not great for wood. Yeah, I think it's underpowered for wood. I think it's actually aimed at plastic modelers. So, you know, the manufacturer aims at plastic modelers, so I don't think it's really aimed at being wood. I would go with the Proxon equivalent for wood. I have the Proxon equivalent. It sands from side to side, which works for me. It's got stronger grit on it and more power. So yeah, I don't think it's a tool really aimed at wood. But yeah, a lovely tool. I got it from the place that I'm hoping that we'll sort this 10% discount on. He must be very busy. At least that's what I'm telling myself, because he's not returning my emails in the last fortnight. So that's starting to bother me. But you know, if he's a one-man band, I understand him being busy. So it might not be till the new year that we get this discount code up and running, which is a bit disappointing for me, because I've already done the introduction video, and I'll have to completely rework it if we don't pull it off before Christmas. So yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I'm not giving up on it. If this falls through, then I will look for another supplier, as simple as that. And I will get there. Yeah, it's just who. I really quite like this company, so I don't want to give up on that for now. But yeah, that was the sander we did on Monday. A lot of people interested in that. It is a very cool tool. It's got some limitations. It's got some curved sanders, but they're I just think they need a curve in a different direction. Would be even more useful than the ones they've supplied. But there you go. So yeah, nice tool. Then on Tuesday there was a members only video, which we've already talked about. Then on Wednesday, I had originally planned to do 2 videos, but I actually put the second video onto Thursday. So we had more progress on our Sherborne here. You can see we've moved her on a little bit. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I introduced you to planking fans. So if you've not seen it for whatever reason, and you're sort of new to wooden modelling, go and check that out, because planking fan is the easy way of doing the calculations to have a very nice presented outer planking. You don't really need to do it on the Sherborne. You can do it the same way as you've done the first planking, but starting to learn those behaviours will get you where you need to be by the end, and that's what we're trying to do. So that's that. Then Thursday we had the review of the 3D printed ship's boats from Vanguard models. A lot of people find building the little wooden ship's boats fiddly. I see comments about it all the time, and apparently that's been the feedback to Vanguard, so that's why they've done that, and they're absolutely exquisite, an absolute work of art. They are really, really nice. So definitely go and check those out if you're a wooden modeler, because you can buy them individually, and a lot of wooden ships you do just need one or two. So very nice indeed. So that was Thursday, and then Friday was the last one, I think, of Tempo. Now, as I record this, I've not actually edited it, so I don't know, but I think it is. So I will be editing that over Thursday to get it done. So that gets us to today. So that was our week. If you missed any of that, do go and check it out. The Tempo ended up presenting itself very nicely at the end. So I hope that people enjoy that and engage with that a little bit more than they have done. My intention is to change the thumbnail picture from the actual box art to the finished model, and that might draw some more people in at the end who then want to go back to the start and watch it. And you never know, you might get some new subscribers. I'm getting new subscribers all the time, and they come off those videos. So even the first impressions videos, the Erosina that we did last week, I think I got 6 new subscribers from that. So there's a constant trickle of new subscribers finding the channel, which is lovely. That was last week. So what did we get up to in modelling terms? Well, we finished the Tempo. You've now seen that, so I don't need to show you that. Tempo's done. We started the Junkers F13. It's all in a drawer right now, not much to show you. Members have seen some pictures, but we're at the very early sub-assembly stage right now. But oh my god, the engineering is lovely on that kit. Really, really nice. And I've been fairly confident for 6 months that I knew what my kit of the year was going to be. And then we got the hovercraft kit, and then we started building the Junkers, and it's really challenging me as to whether my decision is my decision. So I've got to really think about it. So we will be doing a video on that, my purchase of the year, and why. Someone suggested I should do plastic and I should do wood. Well, I can tell you now, my most popular video of 2024 was the first impressions of Indefatigable, and quite rightly so. For a lot of people, that is a dream kit, and literally a dream that perhaps wouldn't ever become reality. It's a very expensive kit, and you can buy a lot of models instead of that, but boy does it pay you back, and some. So that has been the 2024 most liked and most viewed video, and also the most shared video. So really been a lot of love for that video and that kit. When I do my kit of the year, I've got to think about that, because you've got to take into considerations things like, is that accessible? So my kit of the year isn't just the best engineered, most expensive kit. It's got to be a combination of, it's affordable, it builds nice, it's got everything in the box, the detail's good, You know, all of those things. Yeah. So there's lots to consider for Kit of the Year, and no doubt we'll explain it all at the time. So that's coming up in the future. We've sort of moved on to what's coming up, but let's just stay on the bench for a minute. So we finished the tempo, we started the Junkers, we didn't do anything with Scharnhorst, but we did do a little bit on our beautiful Sherborne kit, and the more I build this, the more I love it. So this is my first Vanguard Models build, and I've built wooden models from various companies, and up until now I would have said Amati models are probably the best. They're not without the challenges, particularly some of the bigger kits, but this is, the engineering behind this is absolutely stunning. I have never had such a rigid model at this stage. So we've pretty much done all the basic hull work now. We've got a little bit of decorative moulding to go on, and we've got the top rails to go on, and a little bit of decoration on the transom, and you know, then we can say she's done hull wise. But the design of it is such that, so you've got a little piece that goes in here which covers up any gaps, holds your deck down. It's so well thought through at every step. Such an easy build. Usually the smaller kits are a little bit more challenging, and I was almost in my head ready to say, well, it's not really a starter kit because it's got these challenges, but actually it's beautiful, and I'm really glad I chose it as a starter kit, and it's coming on really nicely. So we did some more on that. So we got the decks in, we got the inner bulwarks in, and then in the week when I should have really been doing a bit more Junkers, so I had enough video, we ended up doing a little bit more on it and opening up the gun ports, because I just wasn't in the mood for plastic, and that happens sometimes. So that was what was on the modelling bench. From now until the end of my Christmas break, we'll try and do some alternate the models each day, so I should get a bit of time every morning to do a little bit. And so we'll do Sherborne one day, we'll do Fly another day, Scharnhorst another day, Junkers another day, and sort of build that up. I've got some other videoing bits and pieces, so I plan to start my day by editing a video, recording a video, and then doing modelling, and doing that every morning. It is sort of my way of working through the holidays, so that should hopefully get us ahead a little bit. But I'm actually ready for a holiday. I am so worn out. Work has been mentally busy. I've had a migraine now. This is day 4. I've not slept well. You can probably tell I'm a bit lackluster. I'm just tired, and I need a break. And it's possible that the first week of January I might just not bother with any of this, not bother with any videos, and just have a week and sleep it all off. I say that, but when I've got nothing to do, the thing I want to do the most is build models. So all Lego. I'm buying a new Lego set on the 1st of January, and I'll want to build that when it arrives. So the I like my buildings, and the new 2025 modular building is a corner pub. So I want to get that, and because I'm a Lego Insider member, I get a free complimentary kit that goes with it. So I'm thinking first week of January, we might just switch all this off and have a break, and that might mean that you might not get any videos, but there will still be stuff going on in the members Facebook page. So that is sort of what's coming up on the bench. So let's talk about the year that we've had. Right, I've had a coffee, I've had a shower, I'm feeling a little bit more alive, so let's crack on with recording the show. So this year we had some landmark moments for the channel. I suppose the one that everyone's sort of aware of is hitting 10,000 subscribers. And we made a bit of a song and dance about it. We spent 2 weeks with you lot taking over the channel and deciding what we built, which was really interesting for me. I learned a lot from that because it was ships and more ships. But I know there's people out there that don't principally build ships, and some of those people have become members as well. So really, really interesting. But yeah, we hit 10,000 subscribers. We're now at over 11,000 subscribers, and it doesn't seem that long ago that we did the 10,000 subscribers. But that's not actually the really interesting figure regarding subscribers for me. What's interesting is the number of subscribers we had over the year, and I'm just going to get the exact number up. So as I record this now, so this won't be the total figure for the end of the year because it goes up a little bit most days. We've had 3,186 new subscribers since the 1st of January. So if you think about that 11,000 figure, yeah, that is about a third more than I've had in previous years. So previous years, if you take the average, it's about 2,500 per year, but it wasn't quite. It was less than that the first year, more than that the second year, a bit more than that the third year, but the second and third years were very, very similar. So that's quite a big jump in the percentage of new subscribers being brought in. So you ask yourself, well, why is that? What is it that's done that? Because when you look at the sort of the subscriber curve, it's just a straight line going up constantly all the time. There isn't really any dips in it, but that upwards curve increases a little bit as we go through the course of this year. So what made that difference? We'll come back to that. So 3,186 new subscribers. 752.4 thousand views of the channel. 276 uploads. So that's how many videos I've put out as I'm recording this, and it's Wednesday this week. So we've still got more to come. You know that we have an average of 3 per week, but some weeks we've done more. And the next couple of weeks is no exception, so that will have gone up. So you're not quite at a video every day, but you're certainly at an average of 4 videos a week. So yeah, 37,000 plus likes, 4,262 comments, plus about 4 that I've had this morning, and 1,131 shares. Now you might think the shares are important because that's someone copying the link and putting it in Facebook, but actually it's a proven fact that posting your videos into Facebook will increase the amount of views you get by, on average, 1 to 1.1% across the course of the year. So in other words, it's not worth the effort. So those people that do a YouTube video and then they post it in 7 or 8 Facebook channels religiously, they're not actually doing much to increase the volume of traffic coming into the channel. So yeah, it's not worth the effort, which is why I don't generally do it. I sometimes do it at the start of a new program. So when we launched the Sherborne, I posted the first 2 or 3 videos in 1 or 2 places. But yeah, that was about it. So we did some live streams during the course of the year. Not many, but we've now, for a while we didn't have the ability to do it. When I swapped camera, I didn't have the right cables and stuff. We can now do it. And actually the 10,000 subscriber showcase live stream was my most popular live stream of the year. So yeah. The other milestone that we achieved this year was over 2 million views of the channel since we launched. So I mean that's just think about that figure for a minute. 2 million views of my videos. Yeah. So really interesting. Then when you think about you've got an increase in views, you've got an increase subsequently of subscribers, you've got an increase in the number of hours the channel's been watched over the course of the year. So what drove that change? Well, I think the answer is in what was my top performing video and top performing short of 2024. So I have to say it's been really interesting because last year we didn't do much on this front, and this year we sort of brought it back in anger, and suddenly, boom. So my top performing video of this year was a first impressions video. No real surprise there, as first impressions is still the main source of new subscribers finding the channel. So it's a combination of people looking for those kits, those builds, because they're about to do it themselves. That's probably the most common way that people find the channel. Or they've just bought one and they're doing some research. How have other people tackled building this? And they find my video, and therefore they find my channel. So first impressions is one of the main draws in. And the video that performed the best this year, hands down, absolutely, excuse the pun, blew everything else out of the water, was the first impressions of the Vanguard Models HMS Indefatigable. Not really a surprise in one aspect, because it's such a stunning model. Absolutely stunning model. But on the other hand, a bit of a surprise because it's also quite niche, because people going to buy a £1,300 wooden ship kit, you know, it's not gonna sell like a 200 quid wooden HMS Victory. You know what I'm saying? It's out of reach for many people. But I guess there's a lot of people want to see what does that kit look like? What would it be like to build that? People don't just come to first impressions because they want an honest review of the kit. Sometimes they're just curious to know what that would possibly look like. And there's a lot of people who've probably been building wooden model ships who've, built the brands such as Artesina Latina and Amati and maybe Billings Boats, the big brands, and haven't come across Vanguard. So I know that Vanguard saw an upsale on their Sherborne kit. But that wasn't just the first impressions of it. That was the fact that I said, right, let's launch a absolute beginner's build for it. And that in itself was interesting, and we'll come back to that in a sec. My top performing short was, again, a wooden ship and another Vanguard's model ship. It was the second planking and listening to a bit of T-Rex on a Sunday morning of the Sherborne. So 2 wooden kits, my top performing videos of the year. Now, if you go back to 2 years ago, when I started out my adventure, or 2.5 years ago, started out on my adventure of flight, I had a little increase then. Obviously, the channel was a lot smaller and it wasn't being seen as much. But the beginners, the first sort of episodes of Fly have continued to be a draw into the channel. But that has dropped off a cliff since I started building Sherborne. And I used to regularly get comments, at least 1 or 2 every month, when's Fly coming back? I haven't had a single question about when Fly's coming back since I started Sherborne. So I think the build of the Fly in its own right isn't the draw. So what is the draw? Well, the most common comment that I get when people say they like my channel, I get a lot of people that say, oh, I like the channel, I love the content, keep doing what you're doing and all that. And I really appreciate the encouragement. But occasionally some people will go on and elaborate and say, I like your channel because. And there's a couple of reoccurring themes. One is the variety. And that includes the fact that we do ships, we do planes, we're always doing something different, and that's done with purpose and intent. And some people will go as far as say, and he does wood as well, which I do. So you know, that's nice. People appreciate the variety, so they appreciate the effort, the planning, the thought that's going into the channel, and that pays off. But the other thing that people say is, I really enjoy the way you explain things. So, you know, the number of comments I get about, you know, I've watched several videos, but no one's explained it quite like you did. It's very, very flattering. I mean, I just do it the way I would want it explaining to me. There was a Hollywood movie, I can't remember what movie it was, but Denzel Washington was in it, and he had a sort of a catchphrase in the film. It might have been Philadelphia, but I might be wrong there. And he says, no, explain it to me like I'm a 3-year-old. Something like that. I might be paraphrasing. That's how I want things explaining to me. So that's sort of how I explain it. And not to be sort of condescending, because most people are sort of my age or older. But if you don't know, you don't know. And so I try and explain things as clearly as I can. And it is my most common comment on why people enjoy the channel. So I think what people are enjoying from Fly was my explanation of the process, rather than the fact that we were building the Fly. Yeah, I mean, there's 1 or 2 people who'd found my Fly build because they were also building the Fly. But if, you know, they were starting the Fly at the time I was starting the Fly, they've probably finished it by now, or way past where I am, that's for sure, and given up on it as a sort of a follow-along build, which was never the intention anyway. Whereas Sherborne has always been intended to be a follow-along build, and I know I put it out for once a fortnight, and that's a slow pace for people. But you know what? Go and build something else while you're waiting. You know, because if you've not built before, don't rush ahead, because I'm going to share sometimes unknowingly tips and tricks that I don't even think about anymore. You know, your experience of it comes out despite the fact that I'm trying to do it as beginners. I've said this before, but it is very difficult to do beginners videos and think like a beginner, because you're naturally spotting things that only experience has taught you. But I do try and explain those things and talk through those things as we go. So since Sherborne started, no one has asked me about Fly, which is why I'm happy to extend the parking of Fly for now, while I concentrate on getting ahead with Sherborne. Because if I can get well ahead, we might increase the how often the videos go out. We might we might do 3 weeks of Sherborne and then 1 week of something else. Because when the Endeavour finishes, I've got some other stuff to do on Wooden Wednesday. I've got some books to review and I've got some kits to review, but I've not got a lot. So we'll then be relying on Sherborne. So I want to speed ahead with Sherborne. So yeah, really interesting that wooden kits are such a draw, and I know that a lot of people have tried a wooden kit for the first time. Lots of people love what a completed wooden ship model looks like. They admire them in museums and things like that, and secretly a lot of people would like to have a go, but they go, oh, you know what, that looks so complicated. But it's not. It's just the rigging. It's just string. You know, you can do it. You can beat string. It's not beyond the wit of man. We will manage it. So I'm really enjoying doing the wooden model ships for absolute beginners. I'm truly enjoying it, and I know many of you are, and it's becoming my best performing build series of all time, which is interesting. Now, that doesn't mean that I am going to chase the subscribers and abandon everything else and concentrate on wood. Absolutely not. But what I learned from the 10k takeover was wooden modelling is something that is important to my subscribers and my viewers. So we've sort of balanced that a bit now. We've got plastic stuff on a Monday, we've got plastic stuff on a Friday, we've got largely plastic stuff on Table Talk on a Saturday, and on Wednesday we have this little creaky wooden spot, and I think that works nicely. So let's just think about what we've covered this year. We started the year, the first real thing, we did an introductory video on New Year's Day, and then on the 2nd of January we started with the build of the Endeavour Part 4. Now, we've finished Endeavour this year, so it took about 12 months to build that, and I had quite a break during the summer, so that was about a 6-month build, doing a couple of hours every other week. So that's where we were with the Endeavour. So that's one of the builds that we finished. And then on the Friday we had Beaufighter Part 3, remember that? So those were the two builds we started the year on. But let's just look at what else we did during the course of that year. Well, we'd started the Scharnhorst in the previous November. The first video went live in the December on the anniversary. At that time it was a buddy build, which of course it no longer is. And you know, it was an exciting time because I was really looking forward to building along, you know, and it never started off like that. That person had approached me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing the buddy build. Turns out that was quite a self-serving thing from that person's point of view. They were looking for someone to help drag them through the build because they have a reputation for not finishing, and you know, ship kits are big builds and they are easy to give up on. So you do need patience and you do need focus. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to pull that off, and that's sad on many levels. But yeah, also in January we had the Scharnhorst build running. So we had Endeavour episodes occasionally, and we had Scharnhorst and Beaufighter running at the start of the year. It wasn't until April that we actually finished the Beaufighter, and then we started the little Matchbox 1 to 76 scale Char B1 and T whatever it was, Renault T or something like that. That little Matchbox diorama, which we concentrated on the painting, and that ended up being one of my favourite builds of the year. So we did the little Matchbox build in April, but of course Scharnhorst kept on running, as it has done all year. Not a lot to show for it really. And that's because in the late February, we launched the group build, which of course was the B17. So that had slowed down the Beaufighter, it had slowed down the Scharnhorst, and that's why things got extended into April. So I launched it in February because that's how where I'd launched my group build the year before when we'd done the commercial vehicles. So I'd stuck with the February. We're doing it different this year because we're doing more group builds, believe it or not. But yeah, it messed up my build, and for a while I had so many builds going, it was piling up again, and it was getting like a couple of years ago, and I was sort of thinking, you know, you're tripping yourself up again. But we managed to work through it. So the B17 group build, that was really exciting. It was a really great group build, and it drew one or two new people in. But the issue with it was, and people were pointing this out, and they're absolutely right, there wasn't a backup for that. There wasn't anywhere to share. So a number of YouTube channels also have Facebook pages, which we didn't have at the time, and I was quite resistant to Facebook at the time, having had a channel before, and it was an utter nightmare to manage, full of trolls, and it just took up too much time trying to maintain it. And I probably wasn't going about it particularly well. I wasn't really sure what I was doing, but anyway, the build lumbered on, and lots of people enjoyed it. And we did a showcase at the end, and we did a halfway showcase part way through for people to show the progress, and we did some updates so people could chat about where they were. So I tried to make my best out of it as you could from YouTube, but it was lacking a little something because of the lack of a Facebook page. But we'll talk about 2025 probably in a different video. So that's where we were. We had a number of builds going on. February, March, April, we started the Shah B1. We've still got the B17 going. That was about the halfway point for the B17. Would you believe I did the first impressions of the big Space 1999 Eagle in March? And that proved quite popular, and several people were saying, I really want you to build that, and I was really up for it at the time. So it was March when we committed to build the Eagle. I don't think we'll be starting it before March, so it'll be over 12 months between me saying yeah, let's do it, to it happening. And so one of the things I learned out of 2024 was to stop committing to things, because you don't know how things are going to evolve, and you might want to commit to something else even more. So that was a lesson. I haven't fully learnt it, in fairness. So the Shah B1 I think was finished by July, and at the end of June that's where the B17 group build finished. And it's also the point that I started putting out my builds. I started putting them out a bit towards the end, and there was one person who was like, well, you know, how do I build along and finish in time? Well, I'd never intended it to be a build along. It was, I'm going to build this at the same time, and then I put some build diaries together. But it was a nice way to close the B17 build, and we had such a lovely showcase with so many B17s, and I think there's still some more to be shared towards the end of the year possibly. August brought us the launch, again excuse the pun, of the lifeboat. So the brand new 2024 lifeboat build that came out, and yeah, I'd always intended to build that as soon as it came out. Just unfortunate that it came out about the same time as the Bulldog. So that again was creating a little bit of pressure because I really wanted to build that as well. But the lifeboat was an interesting build. As a starter set, I thought it was at the more complicated end of a starter set, but lots of people loved it. And it's been really interesting to see how many people have done a model of that and changed the stand to yellow since I did that build, which, you know, emulation and all that. So yeah, I do think it looks so much better with a yellow stand, and I think plenty of you agreed. September brought one of the lowlights of the year. We had a really dark moment on the channel when I did a first impressions of Takom's 172 hood gun. What a dreadful kit. That clearly takes the prize as the worst kit of the year by country mile. I mean, it's done really well. It's beating its competitors off by quite a mark. What a poor kit that is. What a poor kit. Yeah, and the problem is now I've told the world it's junk. I might struggle to sell it. But September also brought the start of the tempo build, and you know, we started gathering a bit of pace on the tempo build. Quite a challenging little kit, and we didn't finish that till December. Now, of course, in there was the Bulldog as well, and I think that was sort of June, July time, was it? July, August, I can't remember. And the Bulldog build was brilliant, and we had a lot of fun with that, although we also had some problems with the behaviour of some products. And so I did something that I very rarely do, and I bought another one of their kits. And I had quite a lot of fun. I spent about half an hour talking to the designer of that kit at Telford, and what he didn't know about Bulldogs isn't worth knowing, to be honest. September was a busy month because it was also the 10k takeover, and that's also when we launched the Sherborne build, with a lot of enthusiasm from you guys who wanted to see it both weeks, which put me under a little bit of building pressure, but we managed to work through it. And so actually, as we entered into October and November, things really settled back down into their natural groove of Scharnhorst, then secondary build being tempo, and a little bit of wood every Wednesday. We moved the channel around a bit. We changed the first impressions slot on a Wednesday to a Monday so that we could mix it up a little bit with tool reviews and other things, which means we're not doing quite as many first impressions, which when you consider that's the main draw into the channel, you might wonder why. It's partly to do with managing money. There's only so much money the channel brings in, and the channel has to pay for those kits. It doesn't come out of my personal money, so the channel needs to fund it. So you've got to think about the budget, and that's just a way of spreading it out. Alternatively, we continue to do one every week, but it'll be a lot of Airfix kits that are relatively cheap and accessible. And I don't want it to become the Airfix show. I'm a big fan of Airfix, don't get me wrong, especially its recent stuff. I think Airfix are absolutely cooking on gas at the moment, and in some areas they're even trailblazing in the way they market their products. I know they get criticism. There's always someone that's going to say, well, you should do it differently, you should do it better. It's a bit like Airfix is a bit like your favourite football team. The manager's never quite getting it right, are they? Now, I don't follow football, but that's what I hear all the time. So, you know, that would be my analogy. We love it so much and with so much passion. We want it to succeed. So we're very critical of it as a result, which, you know, Airfix are very aware of, and they keep their head down and do what they need to do, and that's all right and proper. So when people like me come along and accost them at Telford and say, but why aren't you doing this? They can look me in the eye and say, because. And they have a plan and they know exactly what they're doing, and that's why their business is being really successful at the moment. So yeah, an interesting year, and we've as we come out of the year, we're also hitting some landmarks. We've now got membership. So we launched membership just 2 weeks ago, and it was a moment where I went, you know what, I need to change this up a little bit. And it was a hard decision for me, but I sort of came to realise that when we come to do the group builds, like we did a live stream and you chose the group builds, and I kept thinking about how do we improve the experience of a group build? And the only solution I could come up with was a Facebook page. How do I manage a Facebook page and it actually be manageable and not full of prats? Well, get a team of admins, number one, and only let people in that have paid. No one's going to pay to be a pain in the butt. So that was my rationale. So that's when I came up with, okay, membership, that gets you access into the Facebook page, which we call the social group, because that's what it is. And there'll only be a very tiny percentage of people that'll ever want to be members. And my sort of hope was we'd have half a dozen maybe by the end of the first month, and we're at, including the admins and myself, who are not paying members because they're working members, 25. So, it's a nice little group, but the advantage that we've got as members is that we can share our progress in the upcoming group builds in 2025, and even something else the members do not yet know. So some lovely things coming for the members next year, I hope, including a social outing and all that sort of stuff. And if you're going to get involved in the group builds, they will still function and as they've done before on the YouTube channel, but your enhanced experience will definitely come through being in that social group. So that's why we did membership, and that's why we launched membership. I can only say that I'm massively, massively happy with how the channel has grown. Right, so that's sort of my review of the year. Let's talk about what's coming up over the next couple of weeks, because we don't have a table talk next week. So I need to flood ahead on my little spreadsheet there. So I am planned up until about June 2025 currently. It's a very loose plan. I could follow it and it would deliver, but we know that other things will come along and I'll have to reshuffle and move things. I'm doing that all the time. So what you've got on Friday, all being well, we will have the final tempo part. If it's not, we'll do a little extra bit on top of that. That's the Friday just gone. So if I didn't finish it, there'll be a little extra bit at some point to finish that off in the next few days. Then on tomorrow, we've got a little special for you, which comes out of Telford. Did mean to try and do this before, but I didn't get to it. So we've got a little conversation. If you're a shipbuilder, you'll be interested in it, I think. And then on Monday, we've got an aircraft first impressions. And then on Tuesday, we have a call to arms, and I expect you all to watch the video and all to get involved. All of you, no exceptions, every single one of you. And I'm going to want you to recruit people. And I'm going to leave it at that. But that's one to look out for on the Tuesday. On the Wednesday, we've got a wooden kit first impressions, which I know a lot of you have been talking about getting. It's not Vanguard models. So that will be interesting. And then hopefully on the Friday, we should have part one of the Junkers. We will see. All depends on how much I get done. There may be no Friday video that week. It's a couple of days after Christmas Day. So we will see. I might move the Lady Nelson to Boxing Day. I don't know. It's hard to know, really. On the Saturday, there is no table talk, but there is something very special planned for that day. And all being well, I think we'll have a really nice little special thing happening. I just don't. I want to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you, especially as there is a potential risk that maybe we don't pull it off. When it happens, you'll understand why I'm saying that. But yeah, it'll all become clear. Then on the 30th, that's when I plan to do sort of kit of the year, my kit of the year. And then on the 31st, we'll have the subscriber showcase. The deadline is this Sunday. After Sunday, no more. If you put it in after then, it won't go in because I won't have time for it. I can tell you now, it's the best showcase we've ever had. It's looking really good. And then, so that is how we end the year. We end the year with you guys sharing what you did. On the 1st, we will open with Sherborne Part 8 because it's a Wednesday. So we've already got the material for that, so that's great. Just got to edit it and get it out. And then on the 2nd, we will do Welcome to 2025 and the launch of the first group build. So I had said it would start on the 1st of January. It's going to actually start on the 2nd just because of video timings. So we will be launching it in that same video. And then that gets us straight to Friday, and there should be Scharnhorst Part 22. And then the first table talk of the year, when we'll no doubt talk about what happened over Christmas. So that is the plan. It's quite a heavy schedule. I'm a bit overloaded at the moment. Work has been very busy. I've had a migraine I'm on day 4 of a migraine. I've not been sleeping so well, which doesn't help the migraine. Lack of sleep is one of the triggers. Stress at work's one of the triggers. So all of that might move. It might flip around, it might change days, it might come out a day later, or the usual timings might be kept, not be kept. It all depends on how well I progress with editing videos, how much time I have. I might then take a break, and second week of January we might just have a break and do nothing. No video editing, no recording, nothing, and just hit pause, because I feel like that's where I need to be. And I think we did that last year actually. It took a couple of weeks in the January. It's such a busy period that you sort of need it. So that is what's coming up, and I think that pretty much covers table talk for this week. I think what's coming up next year? Well, we'll talk about that in the Welcome to 2025 video. But what I'm really looking forward to is finishing the Sherborne and starting the next in the series of 4 wooden builds for absolute beginners. I'm looking forward to seeing where membership goes, and I'm looking forward to making some progress on Scharnhorst. So yeah, a lot to look forward to in 2025. So what remains to be said is a massive, you can't believe how massive my thanks is to all of you for watching the videos, for hitting the likes, for making the comments, for the donations, for all the support I've had during the course of the year. We've had some ups and downs during the course of 2024 with music and what have you, and we nearly gave this up, and I'm so glad I didn't, because it's an absolute joy, and talking to you guys and interacting with you guys is what makes this very special to me. I absolutely love it, and as you know, I enjoy doing these videos as much as I enjoy building models, and I don't enjoy anything more than that. I really don't. So it's been a very special and really a year that things have really sort of slotted into place, And we haven't mentioned gallery, of course, and we started looking at gallery, and there's more to come with that next year. So yeah, lots and lots to come. It's been a great journey this year. Thank you so much. Have an amazing festive season, whatever your faith, culture, belief is. Enjoy the new year, enjoy the festive season, have a great break, find time for your modelling, have a great couple of weeks, and I will see you, if you're a member, in the Facebook group, and I will see you around the chat if you're not. So have a great time, everyone, and I will see you on the next video. So bye for now.